Hi. A friend and I were talking about current events the other day, and he had a question which I decided to pose to the tree oracle. And the question was, what causes someone to choose to live in a dictatorship if they have experienced what democracy has to offer? The central energy card is lime reversed, lack of character, lacking a sense of purpose or direction that comes from within, too apathetic to participate in the democratic process, finding motivation outside of oneself. Behind this is Palo Verde reversed, resentment, not wanting to work with others, looking for a defined enemy, an other, someone to blame for one's problems. The cause is live oak, congregation, people gathering together into a group. A number of people share a general outlook on life and are unconsciously looking for a leader or movement to follow. What comes next is shagbark hickory with a flourish, making a show or exhibition to arouse, stimulate, or inspire. The outcome is walking tree, procedure, the official way of doing something, rules that are required to be followed. I think these 5 cards mean that when people don't feel a direction in life, a sense of purpose that comes from within, they group together, often under the umbrella of a strong person or a religious leader who does have aims or a sense of direction and is able to communicate his aims with the group in a way that resonates with them, often on an unconscious level. The speaker makes them feel he's talking to them. He seems to understand them and is able to express their real feelings. He understands their grievances, but he doesn't ask them to be responsible for their own actions. Instead, he tells them he can solve their problems if they follow him. He is a showman. He creates a performance. They are entertained. Their emotional response makes them feel involved. Emotional involvement is part of the strategy of the showman. You can think I'm just talking about our president here, but this is behavior that is pretty standard for people who buy into what some strongman is selling. The first set of clarifying cards were Xantheria reversed, gaudy but of poor quality. Date, unrelenting, tireless, determined. Pawpaw, voluminousness, roomy, a big tent. I think this indicates that the nature of this kind of government or religion is that while it offers a big tent with a lot of entertainment and gratifying emotion, it is single-minded, insisting that its outlook is the only correct one and its rules must be followed if one is to belong. The second set of clarifying cards were Hawthorne reversed, lack of commitment, change from the sacred to the secular. Mesquite reversed, stupidity, ignorance, and ginkgo reversed, a trickle. In the final analysis, this kind of rulership, while it starts by rousing to action, by inspiring its followers to some kind of holy war against its perceived enemies, in the end, what seemed sacred is merely a quest for power or riches on the part of the leader, who relies on maintaining ignorance amongst the followers while they learn to be satisfied with the bare necessities and just getting by. Because they are emotionally involved with the leader, they usually are told they need to sacrifice something to the cause or only listen to him or anything that will cause them to think outside his box. So the answer to the question of what causes someone to choose to live in a dictatorship if they have experienced democracy, according to the tree oracle, is having no backbone, no interest in the duties of being a citizen, blaming others instead of taking personal responsibility, looking for someone else to make the important decisions of life, and a need to be entertained in order to be distracted from one's deep-rooted unhappiness. So not very uplifting, but self-examination rarely is. This reading does give one possible explanation for why nearly a third of our country seems to want to quit having the kind of government we have, which technically is a democratic republic with a constitution, or body of laws that apply, or are supposed to all its citizens. At any rate, just something to think about or discuss if you're into thinking about or talking about politics. Later in the week, I plan to put out a couple of short tarot readings pertaining to Russia. This is LauraJthe.Treetalker. Hope the rest of your weekend is enjoyable. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.